Good morning, Michael here, and today we're looking at Job chapter 24. And as I read this chapter, I really wondered if Job had become delirious. It's so difficult to really, in a natural sense, interpret. And so I chose to look at it from the commentary of the Enduring Word. And I believe we will go from verse 1 to 12 in the commentary. So let's begin. So they write Job 24, the problem of the seeming security of the wicked. A. Job explains the conduct of the wicked. Verse 1, in verse 1 to 8, the conduct of the wicked. Sometimes are not hidden from the Almighty. Why do those who know him see not his days? Some remove landmarks. They seize flocks violently and feed on them. They drive away the donkey of the fatherless. They take the widow's ox as a pledge. They push the needy off the road. All the poor of the land are forced to hide. Indeed, like wild donkeys in the desert, they go out to their work, searching for food. The wilderness yields food for them and for their children. They gather their fodder in the field and glean in the vineyard of the wicked. They spread the night naked, without clothing, and have no covering in the cold. They are wet with the showers of the mountains, and huddle around the rock for want of shelter. So the commentary goes, since times are not hidden from the Almighty, why do those who know him see not his days? The sense of this difficult verse seems to be, since God knows and will judge everything, why are the godly kept in the dark about his ways? This had special application to the question of why God allows the seeming prosperity of the wicked, discussed in the following verses. The NIV translates this verse, why does the Almighty not set times for judgment? Why must those who know him look in vain for such days? The New Living Translation has, why doesn't the Almighty open the court and bring judgment? Why must the godly wait for him in vain? 2. The first verse of this chapter is not the only difficult portion. In chapter 24, we run into all kinds of problems. First, there are textual difficulties, which render many lines almost unintelligible. Secondly, the speech as a whole seems incoherent to many readers. Thirdly, chapter 24 is said to express sentiments that Job could never have uttered. They would sound better on the lips of his friends. B. Some remove landmarks. They take the widow's ox as a pledge. All the poor of the land are forced to hide. Here Job describes the mostly financial sins of the wicked, rooted in greed and cruelty. In Job 22, 5-11, Eliphaz said that Job's calamity came upon him because he acted this way towards others, and his riches were therefore gained by greed and wickedness. Job agreed with Eliphaz that this is how wicked people act, without agreeing with him that he himself acted this way. The law of Moses denounces curses on those who remove their neighbors' landmarks. You can see that in Deuteronomy 19. 2. Here you see the rich landowners removing the neighbor's landmark, curtailing by fraud in a hedgeless, unfenced land the narrow possessions of his poorer countrymen. Cursed, you remember the solemn words, cursed be he that removeth his neighbor's landmark. And all the people shall say, Amen. But Job sees no curse fall. And so they look at verse 9 to 12. The wicked oppresses the weak. Some snatch the fatherless from the breast and take a pledge from the poor. They cause the poor to go naked, without clothing, and they take away the sheaves from the hungry. They press out oil within their walls, and tread wine presses, yet suffer thirst. The dying groan in the city, and the souls of the wounded cry out, yet God does not charge them with wrong. Some snatch the fatherless from the breast and take refuge. Let's do that. Some snatch the fatherless from the breast and take a pledge from the poor. In a vivid description, Job described the heartless oppression inflicted upon the poor by the godless. One would expect that Job would not condemn this so strongly if he were guilty of the same. The touching pathos of these word pictures should be felt by the reader, for they give us some insight into Job's contempt for wickedness and his ability to empathize with those in distress. B. Yet God does not charge them with wrong. This was the part that was difficult for Job to understand and accept. He knew how wicked the wicked were. What he could not comprehend was why God did not judge them as they deserved. Job pleads with God to subpoena sinners and judge them. With mounting frustration, Job cites examples after examples of sinners who go unpunished. 2. Job felt God should demonstrate his justice by openly punishing the wicked. In the divine speeches, God would teach him a tremendous lesson about this, which he did not now understand. The dying groan in the city. After having shown the oppressors carried on in the country, he takes a view of those carried on in the town. Here the miseries are too numerous to be detailed. And so we just got to stop there today. But this is really quite a chapter. It really bends your mind to follow Job's thought. But I can really empathize with Job. There is so much corruption and evil throughout the land. You just don't know where to start. And you really wonder what's taking God so long to burn them with a fire 7 times hotter. Oh man. But God's thoughts and his ways are higher than our thoughts and ways. And so we have to trust to him. But it's good to hear Job almost in a confusional state, crying out every which way. Well, trust you enjoy the commentary on those few verses. We will get to 13 to 25, I believe, next time around. Do enjoy the journey. This is Michael here declaring, Jesus is Lord. Until next time, be blessed.